From KUNC and the NPR network, this is In The NoCo. I'm Erin O'Toole. It was a major story in Colorado. A hiker was found dead on New Year's Day after a suspected mountain lion attack in Glen Haven in the foothills west of Loveland. The Larimer County coroner later confirmed that 46-year-old Kristen Marie Kovach of Fort Collins died as a result of the mountain lion attack. State wildlife officials responded by euthanizing 2 juvenile mountain lions in the area and found one had human DNA on its paws. Since the attack, news reports have indicated that other hikers have encountered mountain lions in that area. And all of this leads to larger questions about how wildlife officials manage mountain lions through hunting and other methods. And does an attack like this impact the way that they manage these animals? For more, we're joined by Kara Van Hoos, a spokesperson with Colorado Parks and Wildlife. Kara, help us put this recent attack into perspective. There are roughly 4,000 mountain lions at a given time in the state. How often do you see a mountain lion attack in Colorado?
It's very rare. We have been tracking mountain lion attacks on humans since 1990, and there have only been 28 other attacks on humans. Both populations have grown, and the number of attacks are still relatively low. We have not had an attack on a human, in fact, since 2023. So we consider this to be one of the more rare events.
And how common is a fatal mountain lion attack on a person?
Even rarer. The last one that we have reported was in 1999. And even more rare, I want to put out on an adult. In fact, the 3 other fatal attacks that we had in Colorado since 1990 have all been on, unfortunately to say, on children, on a teenager and 2 children.
I tend to think of fall as a more dangerous time for wildlife encounters. I mean, whether it's bears getting ready to hibernate or elk looking to mate. How unusual is it for wildlife like mountain lions to be active in winter?
Winter is actually the time when we take the most mountain lion sightings and reports. And this is because mountain lions will follow their main prey source, which are deer and elk, down from higher elevations to lower elevations. So deer and elk will spend their winters along the Front Range and in lower spaces. That's just where they typically like to hang out during the colder months. That's where their food is more plentiful. So, of course, lions are going to follow them.
I want to talk a little bit about the response to the recent attack. Talk about the decision to send wildlife officers to find and euthanize the mountain lions in that area near Glen Haven. Is that a typical response to an attack like this?
Yes, because we are the state wildlife agency. So if it involves animals, if it involves big game like mountain lions, we are the primary. We are going to respond. And when we got that call, we had no idea if it was one lion or multiple lions or what that scene was going to look like when we got there. We go into this knowing about mountain lion behavior, about their family structure, that if it's a younger mountain lion, what we call a subadult, that there are most likely other subadults and a mother nearby, because that's how they kind of travel together before the children will leave their mom. And so when we got there on scene, we saw one lion right there at the attack site. And then we found another one close by a little while later. So already if you're nearby where a human has been attacked, that's a red flag for us because that's not normal mountain lion behavior at all.
After the unfortunate death of the hiker on New Year's Day, other people have since come out and said they've also run across aggressive mountain lions in this area. The Loveland Reporter-Herald reported that a runner had to fend off an aggressive mountain lion on that trail. Had Parks and Wildlife received the reports about those encounters before New Year's Day?
Sure.
And if so, how do you respond?
Yeah, I think in that particular case with the runner, we responded that same day and we were not able to find any lions. But what we learned from his story and what he told us was that he was able to successfully haze it away. So it sounded like it still had a healthy fear of humans that we look for with wildlife. So he was able to throw his phone and a tree branch, and the lion was scared off. And that's really what we look for and we want to hear when you do have those kind of encounters, is that the lions did not continue to pursue him. It didn't continue to run after him. And then when we go there and we don't see anything, then it's really difficult to find lions because they are so good at adapting to their surroundings and to be hidden when they want to be hidden.
Colorado has a statewide management plan for mountain lions, which includes issuing licenses to hunters. How do attacks like this affect the state's plan for mountain lion management?
It may not affect it this year because we will issue licenses and set those numbers for number of licenses months prior to this. So it's something that we look at on a much broader scale and not necessarily just knee-jerk reaction into doing something like that. And it's something that's science-based with our data, both from populations, both from social tolerance of wildlife in the area, and what our population objectives are. So we manage populations for mountain lions in Colorado to remain stable. So we're making sure that the numbers of mountain lions that are harvested are in line with keeping the mountain lion population about where it is right now.
Okay. And about those hunting licenses, might wildlife officials issue more of them in the following year in areas that have had multiple mountain lion sightings?
It's tough to say. That's something that would be a much longer process for us to look at, and something that would be talked about with our biologists, with our district wildlife managers who live and work in those communities, and also with our commission, so our Parks and Wildlife Commission. So it's something that we would all talk about together and see if this is something that we would want to do and that the community also wants to do, and that would make sense in the bigger picture of overall population management.
And how many licenses do you issue in a typical year?
So right now, our mountain lion licenses, our quotas that we make available are 610 mountain lions for the entire state.
Okay.
And most mountain lion game management units they don't even hit their quota of lions that can be taken.
And I want to end with some safety advice. If you are out hiking and you see a mountain lion in your space, what should you do?
Well, first, you should not go any further towards the mountain lion. You should stop where you are. In the broadest sense of the terms, mountain lions do not care about humans. They don't want to investigate us further. They're not curious about us and our activity. But we don't want to encourage any encounters. So you don't want to keep going towards the lion. You want to make yourself look as large as possible. So holding your arms over your head, your backpack, a jacket, maybe fan that out. And you want to start making noise. A lot of people will carry whistles while they hike. You can throw rocks. You can yell. Any sort of noise will be really effective with cats. You can also use bear spray. A lot of people ask if bear spray is effective, and that is also a good tool to use. And then you want to start just backing up, continuing to face the lion. You don't want to turn and run. Because that could activate their prey drive. And that's the same with a lot of other wildlife species as well.
Kara Van Hoos with Colorado Parks and Wildlife talking about a recent fatal mountain lion attack in the Larimer County foothills and how officials have responded. We'll put a link for more on this story in our show notes and at KUNC.org. That's it today for In The NoCo. I'm Erin O'Toole. Thanks so much for listening.